Hey everybody, it's Vicki with Dementia with Grace. How is everybody doing? I hope y'all are doing great, and I hope y'all are ready for this video. In case this is your first time to the channel, my name is Vicki Nolan Fitch. I am a social worker and a certified dementia practitioner with 30 years experience in the dementia caregiving realm. Worked for a long time as a facility social worker and then the director of the memory care unit that we developed there in the skilled nursing facility. And then I have transitioned into consulting for facilities and families, for professional and personal caregivers. Today we are talking about the 7 problems that caregivers have within the family structure, family dynamics. That family arguments is what we're talking about, family conflicts. So I know that we are entering the, I will date this video, but we are entering the Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's holidays. And I just wanted to I just wanted to take time to make a video that addresses these things. And I've got 7 things, and I wrote them down here so that I will not forget them. Do not look at my chicken scratch. Y'all, I can't talk. I'm getting I don't know. I'm muddling it up, but we're going to do this, okay? This is a difficult topic that is probably one of the most important topics to talk about, because there will be a survivor of dementia and it won't be your family member. So we want to talk about how to keep the family structure intact. Now, I know that some people are coming into this video and there is a fracture in the family that has been there for years. It doesn't really have anything to do with a person with dementia. And I understand that. I definitely understand that. But even in the very best, the closest families, dementia goes off like a bomb. It is awful on the person with dementia, but it can be absolutely devastating to the family structure. So I want to talk about a little bit about the 7 things that I feel like in my practice I have seen as the most common issues, and I want to give you some possible solutions. The main thing I want to bring out is what happens, what starts the argument, and my take on the argument, and why it happens, and then maybe give, like I say, a few solutions. But the main thing is that you all as individuals have to think about this. Now, you may be an only child, and the conflict that you have is with the person with dementia and outside friends that think that they know best. They've known your mother for a long, long time. Maybe you're having to come in from out of town and, and take over some responsibilities that are, are kind of foreign to you because you haven't had to be there. Maybe you haven't seen the first 3 stages, the early part of dementia. You could have a family of 10 siblings and your mother has dementia, your father has dementia, and there's a lot of conflict between this faction of the family and this faction of the family, that who knows best, who knows mother the most, who's doing the most heavy lifting, who's doing the most caregiving, and there's something there. You could be the spouse of a person with dementia and you are at odds with their brothers and sisters or their children. So there's a lot of family structures. Totally understand that, and that's what we're going to jump into today, trying to figure it out, okay? Wrote these down so that I don't miss one. Care responsibilities, this is one of the biggest ones. Who is going to take care of the person with dementia? Now, if there is somebody that has always been there, that's always been close to the person, and other people live out of town, it seems reasonable that everybody thinks that the person that is closest, the person that's always kind of checked on them and took them to the doctor, or, they see them the most, whatever. The other people in the family can think, oh, they've got it. Yeah, they've got it. There's really nothing else for us to do. They are taking care of everything. They've always taken her to the doctor. They can continue taking her to the doctor. When you really don't understand that that's so much more than that. And the conflict can come between that situation. Because, Susie is there taking care of Daddy, and maybe your mother is there taking care of your father, her husband, and you think, okay, they've got it. They've got it. I live 2 hours away. I live in a different state, or I have a young family and I have to I have so many responsibilities there. I am the CEO of a company. I am, a manager. I have to be there. I can't just all of a sudden at, 50 years old, put my professional life on hold to take care of my person. My mother, my father, my husband, my wife in some situations. And you think, okay, we do have, our daughter lives close and she is a stay-at-home mom, or she works from home. I see that a lot now, that they think, okay, well, she works from home, so she can just move mother in. We're going to talk about, living arrangements in just a minute, but she can move mother in, and she can do it. She can do it. She's great. She's a wonderful daughter. She can do it. Okay. And the daughter, whomever, is sitting there thinking, I can't do it. And I don't know why you think you're off the hook. I mean, we've got to figure this out. So, there's care responsibilities, and it may be that not that difficult right now because maybe they are in the early stages, but when they get in the middle stages, it falls on everybody. It should, okay? One other thing that I will say about this that causes conflict is the person that is taking care of the person with dementia sometimes doesn't want any help, and they refuse help, and they refuse a conversation, and they're like, I've got it. You stay where you are. And then they feel like they should make all the treatment decisions because they are the one there in the home. They see the person every day. They've been to the doctor. They know what the doctor has said. And, they don't want any help. Nobody can do it but me. Nobody can do it like me. If it's a spouse, if it's your father or your mother, and they say, I've got it. I made the commitment to her 50 years ago that I would take care of her, and I've got it. And you see that maybe they don't have it, or they're doing it, but not at the level that needs to happen, or they're doing it and they're wearing themselves out. They're starting to have their own issues, their own medical issues that come along. Excuse me. Financial strain. This happens when I see this. Let me tell you this. I see this when there's no money or there's a lot of money. And so it goes from one thing to the other. If it's just moderate money, then it's just like, okay, well, she's got to be taken care of. There's not going to be a whole lot left, at the end, and we want her to be able to be taken care of fully. There are people that have a lot of money, and they know that, there's, 4 kids, and, we've got to take care of mama. We're probably going to have to sell the house. There's not going to be a lot left. And let me tell you, that is what I hear when I do family consultations. And it's, we're going to run out of money. And then who is going to take care of mother? Or we're going to run out of money and there's not going to be any inheritance left. Or we've got to put mother in the nursing home. The nursing home is going to get all the money. The nursing home is going to make us sell the house. The nursing home is going to get the house. That's really not the case. It's, it's another third party, Medicaid usually, that says, okay, we'll take care of it, we'll foot the bill, but at the end of her life, we have put a lien on that house, and when the house is sold, we're going to recoup part of our money. So there's a lot of conflict between the family about what is going to happen. If there is no money involved, if there's nothing, then there becomes an issue where we've got to all pitch in and help. Big financial strain. And there might be a person in the family who is well off and the other people are not as well off, and they say, okay, we're putting this on Wayne because, Wayne has a lot of money. And so he'll take care of it. And it's his responsibility to take care of it because he has the most money. Well, that doesn't make sense either. That's not fair. And we want to make these decisions equitably, in an equitable way. Y'all, what is my talking doing? Treatment and care. This is an issue because, maybe one person is taking care or just a few of you are taking care, and then the doctor says, we have to, she can no longer live alone, and maybe there's nobody that can move in with her and she can't move in with anybody. And so then you're going to have to look at care facilities, whether it's an assisted living or a memory care or a nursing facility. Then those decisions are going to have to be made, and there comes a lot of conflict up with that. That is just when you have to sit down, just like the financial strain. You have to sit down and figure out who's going to do what up in the care responsibilities. The financial strain, who's going to take care of what, or who is going to have a meeting with the attorney that can help us navigate, this journey without having to spend down all of mother's money so that her money lasts longer. Treatment and care, the issue there is you're going to have to sit down with the doctor, maybe. If you all have a HIPAA thing, if you don't have HIPAA, then, usually the only one that your mother put down 10 years ago is going to be the one to be the spokesperson for the family, because they're the only one that can talk to the doctor. Maybe your mother has been admitted to the hospital because this is her third fall, and the social worker meets with you and says, the doctor says, or maybe the doctor says it, she can no longer live alone. She's too weak, she's too frail, she's too whatever. And y'all have always promised mother that you would never put her in the nursing home. And one faction of the family says, okay, but yeah, we promised that, but we didn't know how bad it was going to get. And the other family says, no, we are not putting her in a nursing home. We will just, everybody just has to, pitch in and come live with mother. You take a week, I'll take a week, Susie takes a week, And that goes right into living arrangements. How is that going to happen? If she's going to stay in her home, how are we going to accomplish that? If she does go into a facility, how are we going to choose the facility? And then how are we going to monitor the facility? And how are we going to monitor her in the facility? And those are sit-down discussions. Communication strategies with family. That is, are you all going to jump on a Zoom call? Are you all in the same town and you can just come and sit around the kitchen table? Are there people who are long gone and they have burnt their bridges and they are no longer in communication with the family? Is there a responsibility for the family to get in touch with that person? It's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. Time commitments. Again, all of this is a time commitment. Whether or not you move in with her or she moves in with you, or somebody moves in with mama and daddy to take care of whomever it is affected, or you take turns. When my grandmother was sick and down, my mother took a month, and my aunt took a month, and Granny Bonner lived with her a month and us a month. Something like that, and that was just something that the sisters, they were the only two sisters left, and that was their what they came up with and their time commitment that they were able to do. Sometimes people are not able to be in their and physically taking care of the person and physically there. And that person may say, okay, I'll take over the finances. I will be the one that talks to the attorney. I will be the one that pays her bills and manages her money market account and all of that. Or, she's in a care facility. I'll be the one to talk to the care facility. You be the one that talks to the doctor. Maybe this person can be the one that's over all the communication, who gets the Zoom calls or the phone calls or the family meeting arranged, so that everybody is doing something, even though, they're not doing the exact same thing. Then it comes up to, well, I'm doing more than you, and that kind of thing. That is just, that's when you call in somebody like me, who can be a mediator. And there are people who are mediators. And, you can just Google mediator in your area. They can help you work through these things. And I've trained some mediators, but they're not all trained in dementia. So, there's an option to talk with me, and I can Zoom with everybody. The last thing is guilt and resentment. That is when you're doing the best you can, and you think somebody else is not doing the best they can, and you maybe have an argument, and there's a big blow up, and there's a fracture in the family, and you feel guilty, or the other person feels guilty for arguing with you, but then there's just a lot of pride, and they're not going to say, I'm going to make up with her. Not the way she talked to me. I'm not making up with her. There's a lot here. There's a lot to unpack. What I said at the beginning of the video is exactly what I believe. There will be a survivor, and it will not be the person with dementia. Dementia is a terminal disease, and it may take 10 years, it may take 10 months before the person is gone. It's not just memory loss, it's function loss. They may lose the ability to walk, and they might fall and have a head injury or a broken hip and have to have surgery, and the anesthesia is awful, and the surgery, they just cannot survive the surgery. There's lots of things that happen when a person gets dementia. There's a lot of things to think about. So, the family is going to be the one, the brothers and the sisters are going to survive this. And it matters how you survive this. Just you and your family and the father may be the only one. And there's a lot of friction then with your father. And nobody wants that. Nobody wants friction with anybody in their family. But friction happens. And it can happen for very good reasons, because there are equally good decisions, maybe, but one of those decisions has to be made and has to be voted on, or however you just decide to handle it. It's important how you survive it. That's the main thing. You just don't want to come at the end of this journey and people are not talking to each other, or you've made somebody so mad that they've turned the rest of the family against you, or something like that. You have to think about, there's always going to be a person who argues. I mean, for the most part. There are some people who, they're all on the same page, they all make the same decision, they talk about it until they come to the same decision, and it works out smooth and everything's fine. But that is not the majority of the cases. And you don't want to be the difficult family member. You may have difficult family members, or you may be a difficult family member. So think about all of this. Think about how you want to navigate this as a family, and how to come out of it as an intact, healthy family, without conflict, without hard feelings, without resentments, without guilt. So it's a heavy topic. It's a hard topic to talk about. I am available, and there's ways to get in touch with me. My email is Vicky, VICKY, at dementiawithgrace.org, O-R-G. My phone number is available in the group. Come over to the group on Facebook. It's a great resource. And it's Dementia with Grace, Caregiver Support Group. How to reach me and my rates and all of that is inside that group. I'm not going to put it here because I want this to be an evergreen video, and some of those things may change, okay? But there's ways to get a hold of me, and we can sit for an hour on Zoom. I don't visit folks in their home physically, but because it's just I have everybody all over the place. Zoom is usually the best way to do that, okay? All right, the other thing, let me tell you this. If you don't have this book, this is the 36-hour day. It goes through family stuff and what kind of, decisions that you're going to have to go through. It goes through financial and legal issues, caring for a person, you and the person who has dementia as parts of a family. It goes through all of this. If you live out of town, it goes through all this. If you live out of town, that kind of thing. My book is Dementia with Grace, a new positive way of dealing with people, a new positive way of dealing with behaviors in people. And so it really is more about behaviors, but it's a great resource to have if your person has behaviors and they end up having to go into a care facility, okay? All right, this is a long video. I appreciate you sticking around. But this just cannot be handled in 5 minutes. It's a deep subject. It's a hard subject, and I wanted to try to do it justice, okay? All right. Thank you for sticking in there with me. There's lots of other videos here on the channel. Be sure and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe. It's free to subscribe. If you found this on YouTube and it doesn't let you subscribe, it might be that you haven't established a YouTube account, and so you have to do that. You do that through Google. Let's see. Come on over to the group. Leave a comment if you want to leave a comment. I try to get back to the comments when I can. Some slip through the cracks, and I'm sorry about that. But if you have any questions, if you have anything that you need to interact with me with, I hope I've given you some choices, okay? All right. I appreciate your time, and I hope that you can navigate this journey in such a way that when you come to the end of the journey, you're proud of what you did as an individual, and you're proud of the decisions you made as a family, okay? All right. I love you. Let me know if I can help. All right.